All right, guys. Turn that down just a touch here. There we go. All right, thanks for joining. So tonight, I'm going to be unboxing a couple things. Start off with a little backstory, I guess. I had Thrustmaster Warthog for, I don't know, I want to say 6 or 7 years. And just kind of, I didn't really get tired of it. It was a great joystick. It was fun to, it served its purpose. There were a few things I didn't like about it. The main things being the stiction. Everybody talks about stiction. And that was one of the issues with the joystick. Was it the factor in that made me decide to buy a new joystick? No. No, I think I just wanted something different. Time for a change and new flavor, and there's some newer and nicer things out on the market these days, like Virpil, VKB. WinWing is pretty new to the flight sim space. They've been doing private private simulators and corporate simulators for like Cessnas and other types of pilot training. So they're not new to this area, but they are new to the consumer world and consumer flight sticks. So they came out with an F-18 Hornet replica stick with their own gimbal and base, and then they also came out with an F-18 style throttle. So I'll be unboxing both tonight. I did get both, so you can come along with me and open it up if you guys have any questions. I'm just going to kind of make this free form and ask in chat, and I'll try to answer. If you want to see something, let me know, and I'll pull it up to the camera. All right, so this is the this is brand new in the box. Just open it today. All right, so they've got their markings here for the stick. J1 for joystick, and then BP, I don't know what that's for. That may be for their base. All right, let's go ahead and flip this thing over. We'll get rid of that first box. All right, is there an up or a down here? We'll open it where the writing is. We'll see if that's a good place here. I might have to get a new knife. This one feels a little dull.
I can't believe you finally had LASIK.
I just couldn't do the itching and irritation anymore.
I thought you couldn't do it because
All
of your
right.
astigmatism.
I'm going to go ahead and kill that music for you guys, by the way. No need for us to keep that on. All right, so first thing, got some suction cups here. I'm assuming for the base, with some screws. Sorry for the light and the reflections there. Okay, we'll set that off to the side. Oh, there's the patch, the Super Libra. So it's pretty nice. It's definitely thick, magnetic. So it doesn't look like it sticks. We open it up, we'll take a look at it here in just a minute. All right, so toolkit we'll need for adjusting the base and setting up the dampeners and springs and all that good stuff. So it comes with its own toolkit. That's nice. It's always nice to see manufacturers include tools. That way I don't have to go running around finding mine. So we got springs here. Looks like this is number 5. And then we've got number 4. So we got 2 sets of springs here. I'm going to assume... Actually, I don't know which one's which. The smaller ones, I can't remember when spring diameters, which one's the stronger spring. But it looks like we've got 2 sets of springs here. So we got a 5, number 5 spring. It's about that size. And we got a number 4. So you can see the difference there in size. I'll open those up and hold them next to each other. And then we've got our standard USB. It looks like just a standard printer, USB with a Type A connection and a Type B connection. All right, we got our manuals. So this looks like this is going to be one long manual. Okay, so everything is in Chinese on this one. Let's flip it over. No English. On this manual, they must include separate manuals. So just take a look and see what they've got in here. Yep, here we go. So looks like there's the English manual and installation guide. So you've got your parts manual, your user manual, and your installation guide. So both of those. Pretty nice. Let's see if we can focus. Okay. So it looks pretty detailed. They've got a packing diagram. They've got actually this instruction must be universal. They've got a throttle instruction, installation instructions here, as well as the joystick. So set those off in the front here. All right. So we got some packing foam. Looks like those are for the mounts. I didn't order the mounts. I have a Simpet, so I have a center stick mount that will be between my knees. So no need for the mounting kit for me. Sorry for the wiggle. I want to make sure I don't lose anything here in the box. All right, so we've got actually comes with a plate. I was thinking this was not going to come with the stick, but I did order them separately. So I did get the mounting plate, the actual base for their stick base. So this is the mounting plate for their stick base. Probably won't need this, but I'll hang on to it just in case. Get that box out of the way. All right, so there we go. So we've got the base, and then we've got the stick. So we'll go ahead and pull the base out. It's in there pretty good. Good packaging. Very, very nice foam, by the way. Very stiff. It's good for shipping. So I don't think anything would have been damaged in here if it was kicked around a little bit. Seems to be just fine. All right, so here's the base. So we'll go ahead and set that to the side. I always keep my boxes, so keep the bags with the right slot. So there we go. We got another, this one's a Velcro patch. So it looks like we got some Velcro there on the actual base itself. And the patch is Velcro all the way across the entire length of the back of the patch. So if you want to put this on like a backpack or some type of other gear, you can do that. Not sure I would keep it on the stick because it's going to be facing me like this. So I'm not ever going to see it since it's a center mount. So I'll probably just take that off later. All right, so there we go. We got some nice, man, I want to say that doesn't really feel like leather. I mean, it could be a really soft leather. It kind of feels like PU leather. That stuff that you get on those beanbag chairs or like a recliner. It's like a real soft PU leather that feels nice on your skin. So that's really nice. It's a nice touch. You don't find these much on sticks. You usually find them with an open gimbal or some type of plate that sits over top of it right here to protect it from like dirt and dust. So you can already. So it feels nice, actually, just the way it is from the factory. So we got some turn grip left before adjust. So you can cant this 15 degrees left if it's more comfortable for your hand. I have a center stick mount, so I'll more than likely be canting this because it'll be the natural way that my hand lays. It'll be more comfortable. So that's neat. Now I did look up why they cut these here. You may be able to see those little cuts, the longitudinal cuts, the straight cuts from the outside of the outer diameter to the inner diameter of the actual ring here. And that is for resistance. So when you screw the stick on, it takes more resistance for it to back off. So it's kind of like a locking mechanism almost. Now, I don't see, oh, I do see a set screw. So you do have a set screw here. So I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but there is a hole right there for a set screw. And then you've got your USB in the front. So on the bottom, we have some mounting holes. Here's your mounting holes. So you got 4 of those. I'll end up having to take this apart eventually. So I'll find out what each of these, I'm assuming this just keeps the outer case on, and then you've got these 4 here that lock the gimbal down to the base. So I'll end up taking that apart eventually. I do have a center stick, so I think this is going to be, these holes right here are going to be too wide for my setup. I'm going to have to figure something out for this. All right, we'll set that to the side. And there's a pack of set screws, actually. So there you go. So you get a pack of set screws with the stick, 5. All right, now for the stick. Oh yeah, definitely light. A lot lighter than I was expecting. Lighter than the A10 Warthog from Thrustmaster, definitely. Not light as in cheap. There's a difference between like lightweight and cheap. So let's get this out of the bag and see what the feel is actually like here. Get this bag folded up. So we'll get this out of the way. All right, so the stick itself. I don't know if you can read the buttons there. So you've got your trim hat, you got your weapon select hat, you've got your weapon release trigger. I actually can't remember what the function is for this. On the A10, this is for your countermeasures. I'm not sure what it does on the F18, but this is typically countermeasure hat. And then you've got your pinky switch for nose wheel steering, and you've got your brake lever. So buttons, I'll go ahead and try to hold it to the mic so you guys can hear the clicks. So I don't know how well that's picking it up. I don't have one of those. I don't have a streaming camera that's got a nice mic to pick up those small sounds. So we'll just kind of talk about it. So how does it fit in the hand? Pretty good, actually. I think everything's right where I need it to be. So I can reach all the buttons. I can reach the hat. The hat's a little awkward. I'll probably have to adjust my hand when I move it. So that feels really nice though. This switch here on the thumb. This thumb switch feels really nice. It's got nice feedback. Tactile switch on it. It's got a little bit of resistance, forward and back, aft and left and right. Just enough to kind of, you're pushing a button, right? So it's always nice to have feedback, and when you can feel the hat move, instead of it just like moving all over the place with no resistance, this is a nice feeling. This is real nice. I guess some people would almost call that spongy, but I find it nice. It's the same thing with the weapon select hat up here. You get a little bit of wobble, but it's got resistance in every direction. So it's almost like a little bit stiffer spring in there with a little bit more travel. So it's like free floating, but you get resistance. So when you push on it, I mean, it takes not a lot of effort, but it takes a little bit of effort to get it over to where you need it, and it feels beefy, I guess is the word I can use there. So it feels really nice actually. Like if I can't, like you can see finger right here when I pull down, like there is it springs back to center. There is resistance here. The weapon release is nice. It feels pretty standard. I mean, it's not as heavy as the A10 Warthog. I would say it's probably a little bit lighter than the pinky switch. So you got the paddle, and then you've got the pinky switch on the A10. If you're using the pinky switch, I would say this is a little bit lighter than the pinky switch on the A10. Not by much though. And this is the same. This is the same right here. The pinky switch on the stick. These are the same switches. Feels real good though. So I watched a lot of. I watched Jabbers. I watched Growling Sidewinder. Their reviews. Their kind of first impressions unboxings of the stick, and a lot of them had an issue with the recce. Well, not really an issue, but they had some constructive criticism. This could be a little bit stronger. This could be a little bit better switch. So let's check out the recce. It is a little. It's different. The fact that it's a four-way hat. I mean, I could hit it. It's not like it's all over the place or anything. I mean, first impressions, I don't have anything bad to say about it. It does feel a little bit lighter than the rest as far as resistance goes, but I think it's completely usable as far as a switch goes. Sorry guys, there's not great light here, so I think that's usable. I mean, it is easy to move around, but only time will tell. We'll use that a little bit. We'll see what happens with the recce. The hat switch itself. That's interesting. It's not very smooth. Only because I'm spoiled on the A10. The A10 trim hat is amazing. I don't know what type of material they use for the trim hat. It could just be a different type of plastic. It's a little bit softer, but it feels really nice in your hand, almost kind of like a rubber. And the actual trim movement is really smooth, and it feels real nice. This one, however, the tactile is nice, but it wanders. If I can show this here, like it wanders in the middle. It has a little bit of travel. I don't know. It feels probably just takes some getting used to. It's a little different than the A10. Not bad, but it does move around. Whereas the A10, if you were to put your finger All right. Hopefully that's okay. Yeah, sorry guys, we're gonna have to use the webcam microphone now. My headset died apparently. Not sure. It's supposed to have a longer battery than that. So Recce switch, okay. We'll try it out and see how it works, and if it's if there's any negative or drawbacks on this one. I've not flown with it yet. This is just initial unboxing, but so far it feels all right. I mean, it doesn't feel bad or anything. Trim switch a little bit different. We'll try that out and see how that feels. You never know. I really like these two switches right here. The thumb switch and the weapon select switch feel really nice. Weapon release and pinky are good. No issues there. This overall stick size feels nice for me. So far I'm really starting to like. I'm really kind of liking this. All right, so the trigger. So it's supposed to be a little different. So we'll watch the trigger here. There's the first click, and then the second. Let's see if I can get that on camera here. That's the first stage. You put a little pressure on the stick. That's first stage. You break through, and then it clicks into second. So it's different, but I mean, that's kind of why I bought a new stick, is to have something different. Maybe not the same as every other stick that's out there. So I like that, actually. We'll play around with it. My worry with that click, that second stage, that right there, where it kind of feels like it latches in. I have a worry over time that might get stuck. Things like that where they cam in, over time, either the cam stops working or the cam will get, over wear and tear will end up getting stuck there and your trigger won't reset. So we'll see how the cam action works. I'll fly it over the next couple months and then we'll do another review. Maybe even a couple weeks. I fly pretty much every night, so we'll fly this and we'll see how it works. Pinky switch, or I'm sorry, the brake lever. This is plastic. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but that's not metal. That's plastic. That whole switch right there is plastic. So with an aluminum stick, I would have made that lever aluminum. It's a good thing it's not long, so it's a short throw and it's a short lever. But I can already see somebody pulling on this, you know, having it bound to something else, getting excited or something, pulling on this, and you have leverage from the button and snapping this thing off at the top. It's pretty, I mean, it's not thin, so I think it can take some abuse. But if I was to do one thing so far on this, would probably make that metal. I mean, even MEM or some type of, I mean, the stick's aluminum, so I would stick with the aluminum. If we're gonna make an aluminum stick, I'd do an aluminum pinky switch. Just my personal preference. Because this set screw, I don't know how the actual plastic is threaded. So let's see if I can get that on camera here. I don't know how that's actually threaded, if it's just biting into the plastic or if it's a threaded plastic piece. But over time, if you move this, I know it's a set screw, you set it and leave it. But just longevity-wise, with a metal body and you're pulling a plastic piece against a metal body with leverage, you're going to end up snapping that at some point. But only time will tell. I may be completely wrong. All right, so now the bottom. So this is where a couple of the other reviewers had said that they wish this was kind of somehow solidified in the bottom of the base. I'm going to agree with that 100%, because this is just kind of stuck in there and twisted. It is not secured to anything. I almost want to open up the stick and see if there's any retention screws inside for the cable, so that if it gets tugged on, it's not pulling the cables off of the connectors inside on the circuit board. We'll open this up, we'll take a look at it, at some point. I don't think I'm going to do that tonight, but I will have this open and take a look at the inside so you guys can see it too. All right, so there's the threaded piece. So let's go ahead and hook this up to the base, and we'll kind of see what everything looks like. All right, so we can tighten that in, then we can put a set screw in. I'm not going to put one in right now, just because I'm actually going to take this apart and mount it. So I'm not going to do a set screw right now. I might do one a little bit later. I'm thinking about getting their add-on for this stick so that I can use Thrustmaster sticks on this one. So if I wanted to get the A10 or the F16 or some other stick that comes out for that supports, the Warthog base, they have an adapter that you can get. I think it's $10. It's not really $10 though. They don't have stock in the US. It comes directly from China. So even though it may be $10 on their website, your actual cost is going to be about $40 to get a $10 piece to America. And it comes with the threaded piece at the bottom of the stick, and it comes with another female DIN, actually a male DIN connector, 5-pin DIN that you can plug into your Warthog stick. You'd actually have to take it apart and replace the one that's in there. So hold on and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here's an old stick I've had since probably, I want to say 2014 or so, 2013, 2014. This is the KG13 from Bauer. They are serialized. So you can see they're all custom. This was purchased from Bauer. I think he now works for, or he's co-owner, something for Virpil, VPC Virpil, because his Warbird stuff was on the forums before it moved over to Virpil. So I think he's actually either part of Virpil now, works for Virpil. I can't remember if he worked with somebody to start the company, but this is one of the first sticks he designed and put out, and it's using the Cougar internals. So it has all of the ring and all of the right mechanics, the right mechanical pieces for the Warthog base. So what I'm saying with the adapter is this little piece right here, that's the black kind of triangle on both sides with the 5-pin DIN. You take this entire bottom piece off, and inside this stick there's a circuit board with a 5-pin connector, and you got to take that out and replace that whole thing. So it's a little bit of a chore. I would like to just see an adapter. Not something I have to take a stick apart for and possibly damage something. Not saying that I would do that, but there is a risk whenever you take something apart. If you're not comfortable with what you're doing, you may damage it. All right, so I haven't touched anything with the base. The cams are already set up, I think, with the soft springs. So let's see how those feel. So you get a little bit more. Man, I might just fly with that. So the way this works is the center threshold, the force closer to the center of the stick is lighter. As you get further out to the edge, it gets stiffer. Like it gets harder to push it all the way to the extremes. So man, that right side is really tough. Left side's okay. Right side needs some adjustment. Forward is a little tough. Might need a little adjustment, especially to get to the max angle. Pulling back on the stick is actually really nice out of the box. The other thing too is if you take a Warthog stick and you go to the max on all of these like this, you would go in a perfect circle, no problem. with these cams and the way they're designed, you can't actually, it's very difficult. You feel the stops between the cams, like where the centering is, when you're all the way to the extreme. So I'm gonna have to look at that. And figure that out. So I can already see that when you do this, it actually loosens this. So I'll probably need that set screw. All right, so that's a stick. Not too bad. 30 minutes to take a look at that. So you guys want to know how big the stick is? You can't judge from my hands how large the stick is. But I do have my modeling mat here. So from bottom to top is 14 inches. So it stands 14 inches tall. The base itself, actually 13 inches. It's 13. That's 13 inches. The base itself, where the rounded part starts, you're looking at roughly 5 inches. So it's 5 inches from the front of the stick to the back side of the base, or from the front of the base to the back of the base is 5 inches. From left to right, you're looking at 4.5 inches, just under 4.5 inches. So probably 4 3/8 or something. Looks like, yeah, 4 3/8. The stick itself, let's go ahead and take this back off. So we'll set that to the side. The stick itself, from the threads all the way up to the top of the grip, you're looking at about 8 inches. Now that's, keep in mind the grip itself is angled. So it's 8 inches from the top up here to the bottom. If you want to go to where the actual your hand sets, it's about 6 inches. So that's perfect for my hand. From here to here, my hand's roughly, we'll just put it here, 6 to 9. So roughly across, it's actually 6 to 10. So about 4 inches across. So when you look at the body of the stick, from the bottom of the pinky, it's 5 to 9, which is 4 inches. So it actually fits my hand really well. Almost perfect for me, to be honest. Like, I can hit everything. Ergonomics feel good. I don't think I'm going to have a problem with this. One more thing about the weight. So as you hold it, you can tell, like, that's strong material. I don't think you're going to break this. There are some fit finish things to be aware of. So let's see if I can get it on the camera here. So you might be able to see it. There's a little bit of a ridge here, where they don't match. So the stick body and the head of the stick doesn't match. It's not flush right here. So when you pay, I mean, I'll just outright tell you guys, this stick's $300 plus. I think it's something like 40 or 45 for shipping and processing. So when you pay $350 for a stick, you expect these things to be perfect. This is an expensive stick. It's not cheap by any means. If you wanted to go cheaper, the next thing down you're looking at is going to be a Warthog. And the fit and finish on a Warthog is it's way better than that. So small things, it's just it doesn't, I'm not upset about it or anything, but if I would say take a little bit more time, guys, WinWing, and make sure that these things fit and finish it looks good. Attention to detail, guys, especially when somebody's spending, upwards of $400 for a stick and base. Other than that, no complaints. Mounting solution. Somehow get this secured. Somehow. I'll take it apart and see if there's anything
like I said, preventing you from just yanking this out. It doesn't feel like there's too much resistance in the base itself to when you pull this out that anything's going to happen. But I can see if you're taking the stick on and off over time, and let's just say I get the adapter and I'm switching the stick out for my World War II flight stick. That's pretty, basic, but I do fly with it. I could end up damaging this. So, and I didn't see any replacement parts for this on their website. I'd be curious to know if they have replacement parts for this. If that's something that you just contact them and get. I would almost pick one of these up if they sold it right now on their store. I'd pick up a second just in case, because you never know what can happen, especially with something loose like this. Mechanical, you're moving a stick around a lot. You never know. I'm sure they tested it, but as far as like my comfortability level with that's not good. Other than that, everything else seems nice. So aluminum pinky lever, secure this, and fit and finish. The base, I don't have anything to say about the base yet. It's a base. It's heavy. This is all of your weight right here. This base is all of your weight. I would say this base weighs 5 pounds. I'd say maybe like 4. This base is heavy. It's on par with the Thrustmaster with the plate. So I don't even have the plate on here yet. This plate, if I was to put it on this base, this plate's probably about another pound or so, maybe a little over a pound. I don't have a scale here to show you guys. But this together would probably be 5 pounds. So that stick's not going anywhere on your desk. Maybe, you know what? I can't say that because the amount of pressure it took me to pull back on this stick and push forward, granted, I haven't adjusted it yet. You might be able to leverage that thing off the desk. But it's pretty heavy. I would be surprised, to be honest. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set these off to the side. And we're going to get to the main attraction. So before I do that, though, we're going to take a quick break for me to get a drink so I don't start coughing on stream. All right, awesome. Okay. Here's the next box. You guys can imagine what this is. This is the throttle. This box is humongous. Hold on, I don't want to damage this base. I'm going to get this off the table here. I need a little bit more room. Set that back there on that foam. Yeah, let's go ahead and lay this down. So this thing takes up my entire mat. This thing is humongous. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing open. There's the Chinese instructions. Don't need those. Go ahead and take all these parts. Just going to clean up just a second so we can get this box open here. Get all these parts back over here with the stick. All right. And you guys don't need to see where I live. Let me go ahead and take that out. Probably should have took that out before stream. That's fine. All right. So packaging, by the way, WinWing, if you ever watch this, and I'm going to have this video up edited on YouTube. I'm going to take this and edit it for YouTube. And if you guys ever watch this, man, your packaging, awesome. Like they've even got foam on top of this thing to protect it. So that's pretty cool. You don't see that much. They even got the fragile sticker right here too. So not that FedEx or UPS or anybody care. If you work for UPS or FedEx, sorry, it's probably not you. All right, let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. I think it's what everybody wants to see. Most people are very interested in the throttle. Not so much in the stick. I think Thrustmaster stole a lot of the hype around the F-18 stick. And then WinWing, when they came out with theirs, probably didn't get as much as it deserved. Now, this box is humongous. All right. So I don't think I have enough room to actually flip this over and take it out on the table here. So I'm going to pull this off and get this out of the box and then bring it back up here. Talk about suction, man. Whew. All right. The vacuum is real with this thing. Okay, here we go. All right, so T1, that's their throttle designation right there. Yeah, this knife is dull as can be. All right. So again, we got interesting. I have a Super Libra patch here, but their throttle is a Super Taurus. So another Super Libra patch. And there we go. There's the Super Taurus. So I got an extra, looks like. That's pretty cool, actually. I like the bull. I like the Taurus. That's nice. I mean, they're thick too. Like those are not gonna get damaged. Those will last a long time. All right, so we got 2 USB cables here. Interesting. So you got 2 USBs. All right. And we got another toolkit. Some manuals. These are the Chinese ones. We don't need those. All right, so instruction manuals. Sorry if you guys can't see that very well. A little light there. So this is so there is an installation template, so it does give you the measurements. If you guys can see that. It's all in millimeter. So you get 252 millimeter from front to back. 157.5 millimeter to the first mounting hole and 25 millimeters between those. I don't know this must just be for the installation template. This just must be for the mounting bars, the mounting solution that they sell, because that's not the actual dimensions of the throttle itself. I'll show you the dimensions when we're done here if they don't have them. All right, so gives you a lot of information. I'll read through that when we get further in. Packing diagram, throttle installation, joystick installation show. It does show you how to mount the bars and the mounting solution, which I don't have because I have a console for my throttle. I have a throttle box. So this will be going right in my throttle box, and I'll show you guys that when I'm done. All right, so some more really thick foam. This is really nice packing foam. So real thick. I mean, I'm squeezing that as hard as I can, and that's probably about 3 inches of packing foam. I can't get it down to about maybe 1.5 inches. So real good. All right. Oh boy, it's a monster. Holy moly. Alright guys, I gotta take this off camera for a second before I drop stuff. Alright, here we go. Okay. So there's the bag. Comes sealed. That's nice. Keeps that warehouse dust off of it. It's nice they do this. I mean, it's in a sealed box, but still nice. I do keep all my bags in case I end up selling something. Not that I'll sell this, I don't believe, but I do keep them just in case. All right, so there's the throttle. I'm going to bring the camera down a touch so you guys can see this instead of me having to lift it up. All right, sorry for the lighting. I know it's not great. First unboxing I've done. I don't have a whole lot of like the fancy lights, so bear with me. I'll try to get it as close as I can so you guys can see it. All right. So start out by feel of it. I mean, it's like sheet metal, but it's like a thick gauge sheet metal. Yeah, that's like a 16 gauge, or I feel like that's like a 16 gauge sheet metal that's been bent. This top piece, I don't know what that is. That feels different. That feels like plastic. Yeah, I think that's plastic. Yeah, it looks like they've got a underneath, so they got a clear plastic, almost matte finish top that goes over the indicators, the writing, and then underneath that they have a almost looks like acrylic piece underneath this. It's a black acrylic with the cutouts or the engravings for the actual LEDs. The switches, are really nice. I'm not gonna lie. So let's see if I can get this up here and get you guys so you can hear it. They're not as difficult as the Warthog throttle. They are a lot easier to manipulate. So I'm gonna pull this down just a little bit closer. There we go. All right. So there we go. Is that better right there? We can see all that. Okay, good. Formation lights. Oh, that's nice. So as I would expect that radial to be, it's got some resistance, but it's not just flopping around, but it's got nice resistance, almost like a CB radio radial on it. So we got positional lights, also radial. Bleed air are clicks. They're good. Really wish this thing would go all the way around. I don't know how I'm going to map this. I don't think I can do, maybe I can. Maybe it'll do that. Maybe it'll do a full revolution if I go from off to norm. Maybe I can get it to do a full revolution inside of DCS. That's nice. So there's a little bit of a click when it bottoms out at the top, and it has enough force to actually close the switch. So that's just a little tap. I didn't even push that hard. That's nice though. All right, so there's momentary. So we'll pull that a little bit closer so you guys can see that momentary. Yeah, the switches are real nice. All right, so lift gates. I wonder if I can adjust those. Looks like I can adjust the spring tension from here to make these easier or more difficult to pull. I'm not sure. We'll have to look at that, look at the manual and see if that's something you can do. Oh, they weren't lying. So the tension's all the way down on this. That's barely grabbing 2 fingers. That's real nice. Let's get this around here so a little bit easier so you guys can see. Let's see if I can get some light on this here. Here we go. So I'm just using my finger. So that's real cool. And then there's the tension all the way up. Oh yeah. Like that's I would say comparing it to the Warthog, because that's the stick I had. If you were to lighten the tension all the way on the Warthog, like just pull the tension knob all the way back or loosen it up all the way, I don't think you could get the throttles that loose. And then the range on this, when you push these throttles forward, I would say that's not as difficult. I think that's just about as difficult as the Warthog on max friction. Maybe just shy of max friction by about 15%. So these go from looser, like freer than the Warthog. Like this is just silly how easy that is to move. These go from about a way easier than the Warthog to move on 0 friction all the way to 100% friction, and this is about 15% less than the Warthog's max friction, I would say. It's real nice in either way. So yeah, that's going to be cool to play around with. So I will use that. I think this is an actual axis as well in DCS, so that you can map this to the actual friction lever in the F18 and it'll move when you move this one. Sure, you can map this to some other axis that you need. If you want to map it to a zoom axis. I fly in VR, so I don't need a zoom axis. I just need a key. VR zoom is very rudimentary. You get a medium and a high, and that's about it. I don't use the low if there is one, so I will have no need for a zoom axis. Although, just like they said, it looks like they didn't come out with a landing gear knob or landing gear switch or flap switch. There's no flaps, there's no landing gear. They did say they were going to come out with a additional panel for this so that you could have those switches, but being in VR, I do like having the controls where they're supposed to be, but I don't like having too many. The fewest amount of control surfaces that I can have that have the functionality that I need is going to be way more advantageous for me, way more comfortable for me than having a full build out of a sim pit. I can't see the sim pit, and for me to get it like 1-for-1, it is exactly where it should be in the real world compared to the sim is very difficult. And time consuming and not something that I'm really willing to tackle. So if I can get something that has all of the basic functions that I need to do what I need to do, that's what I'm looking for. So that's kind of why I got this. The Warthog itself was lacking in some areas. So I decided to go after the WinWing throttle. I do like, even though it's not accurate to have the pitot heat, the engine on test, all of these switches, the generators in the battery, ground power all over here on the left side of the throttle. That's okay because I can use these. I do like the fact that they put functionality over here, not necessarily that they were 100% accurate with the jet itself. Some people will be mad at that. I am not one of those people. I do appreciate functionality that you provide or give us so that we don't have to buy multiple panels and spend a lot of money on things that we could really just kind of condense into one, even though if it's not 100% accurate. All right, so that's the throttle itself. We'll take a look at the sides here. So there is a WinWing logo here. I can't remember if that was on the last one, if that was on the actual pre-production model or not. I'll have to go back and watch Jabbers or Groundling Sidewinder's video to see if that was there. They still have the thrust lever neutral field tensioner. So they still have that. So this is the detent in the center of the throttle. So if you're doing like space sims or whatnot, you can feel where the center of the throttle is. I may use that for DCS. I don't know yet. Depends. It's always nice to know where mill power is or where the middle of the power band is. You also still have the thrust lever sync, which is supposed to tie the throttles together, I guess, and not let them come apart. So I'm not sure if I'll use that or not. It depends on how the handles interact with each other, whether or not I will actually use that. Other side of the throttle itself, we have another thrust lever neutral field tensioner on this side. On the back of the throttle, we have another Velcro with another Super Taurus awesome patch there. I like these. I'm definitely not going to see this because if you guys saw my box already, this is going to be down inside of a box. So there will be no need for me to have this on here. I'll probably take this off and put it somewhere else. Then I'll probably take these things out, get rid of these bolts. I don't need these. This whole section of this lip right here will sit into my throttle box. All right, so let's set that off to the side. And let's tilt that down a little more. And we'll get out the throttle handles. All right, here we go. So we got two throttle handles. This is the right. Go ahead and take the right up. We'll open the right first. All right, so in the bag itself, you got some screws for mounting it to the lever on the throttle itself, looks like. Are these spares? Interesting, because it comes with screws right here. You have a screw here and a screw here and some 3M tape. These must be spares. They look like they're pretty much the same size as the ones that are in it. So spare screws, nice. That's a great feature actually. Anytime you get spare hardware for things like this, it's always nice. there is a risk of stripping these if they're aluminum and you cross thread them. So be very careful if you guys get one of these. Make sure that you back it out all the way first and make sure it's seated in the threads properly, and then tighten it. All right, so we have, sorry if I don't know the controls in DCS. I haven't flown the F-18 as much because I have an A-10. I love ground pounding. I love the A-10 and what it can do. I've yet to dive into the F-18. I do have the module, so I'll probably be flying it here soon, but I'm assuming this is for radar elevation and declination. So you have up and down. No clicks though, but it is a return to center, and it feels like it's not bad. You can definitely get the whole travel. I'll have to see what it feels like on the actual throttle itself. Slew sensor. So I've heard people say this is like the Delta Sims slew sensor. It's not. It might have some similar internals, but I'll tell you right now, I had the Delta Sim slew on the Warthog throttle. This does not have near the motion, the range of motion that the Delta slew did. This has a lot less range of motion, which, in my opinion, is better. I don't like having a long throw. Now, on at least on the slew itself, some people will, because the longer throw you have, the more accuracy you get. I find if you adjust the slew sensitivity in the actual MFD, or on the display itself, that you can get it kind of where you want it to be. But this has plenty of movement. You can kind of see if you push that left and right, you can see it is reduced in how much it can travel. Feels like up and down have a little bit more throw than left and right. Could just be my brain. Looks like it's a circular cutout in there underneath the actual stick itself. The click is positive. Yeah, it's all right. It's not bad. All right, so here you've got, I think this is your countermeasures. I think this is actually your countermeasure switch on the F-18. Radio, speed brake or air brake. Then you've got a button down here. I'm not actually sure what that button is for on the F-18. These are really nice. These switches are really nice. So these mimic the ones on the stick. So the ones on the stick, if you have the throttle, by the way, and you're looking at the stick, possibly for an upgrade or possibly just to have the stick, these hats are very similar to the hats on the stick. Specifically these two on the thumb hat and the weapon select hat on the stick itself. These two are pretty much the same exact hat switches with different caps. The design, I like the design, and it looks like they have individual switches inside of the hat itself. Yeah, it looks like they've got 4 switches and a push in there, so they've probably got springs in here. If I were to take it apart, it's probably ABS or some type of plastic all the way down to the bottom, and at the bottom there's a set screw with a spring that this just kind of floats on. That's why you get that movement. And then the switches themselves are contact pieces on the top or the bottom, the top, the front, and the back. So you can kind of see it. If I do that, you can kind of see the switch in there, the little white tip. You see that switch. And if I do it this way, you can see it there a little bit better too. Those are switches. So they look like little 6mm small switches. All right, so that's the right grip. The size of this one is from the top of the grip all the way to the bottom where the grip actually screws into the lever, roughly 3 1/4 inches. So from the top of the grip here to the bottom of the grip here is 3 1/4 inches. So from the top to the bottom. All right, let's get the left side open. Don't want to rip that, but it seems like that's going to happen. All right, got it. All right, we got some more. We got some more set screws. Looks like again spares. Came with spares, so we'll throw that up there. All right, so this one, not too much going on here. We've got just the left side of the throttle quadrant, left engine. Very similar switches to the ones on the stick. Interesting. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. That right there. That blemish during manufacturing. Not that it's a big deal. Again, just one of those fit and finish pieces right there. There's a pit in the metal with a scratch through it. I can't really get it that well on camera here, but maybe. It's okay. So fit and finish. You pay. I'll tell you this throttle is not cheap. The standard price of it, I think, is $550, $546, but you're paying $100 in shipping. So this throttle, all said and done, shipping and everything, is $650. So this mixed with the stick itself, you're looking at over $1,000 in cash. And when you pay $1,000 for a piece of hardware, it better be perfect when it gets to you. So small little things like this. Granted, I'm probably not going to see that between the sticks, and I'm being nitpicky here, but that should be one of the things that, even if you just go in with a little filler or something and just clean that up. This is all right, guys. So off that for a minute, but this pinky switch. Listen to this. Do that with your Warthog. Take your pinky switch and do that with your Warthog. If you push nearly as hard as I'm pushing on this, well, let's see if I can show it on my finger. Like, you see how it's pushing my skin in? That would be enough pressure to flip this pinky switch on an A10 right there. That would be enough. Watch this. Like, I have to really... Those are positive clicks. This feels so much more solid than the A10 pinky switch. I can see how that thing breaks on the A10, the Warthog throttle. This is solid. That is nice. That feels like one of these switches out of here. A little bit beefier, actually. Yeah, this is beefier. This pinky switch on the actual left throttle quadrant is beefier than the ones on the throttle panel itself. Maybe they're like the APU crank down here, as far as the switch goes with a three-way. I may be out of my mind, and that may be the same exact switch, but this feels so much more solid than the A10 one did. All right, so let's actually get these kind of on here and see how they look. All right, so it looks like, I don't know if you guys can see this. There is on this little, yeah, it's going to be super hard for you guys to see. All right, so right there on the actual connector itself, there is a keyhole. So right there between those two little pinholes, I don't know if you guys can see that. There is a key. And a key is just a little channel. So it looks like they did a good job here. So there's a channel right here on this throttle. You can kind of see it right there. Sorry, camera doesn't really autofocus. Yep. There's a channel right there. There's a key, and here's the channel on it. So you can't plug these in wrong, which is kind of nice. So there you go. Just slides on, screws on. So we get these little 3M pieces here. I'm curious to know what those are. I haven't read the instructions, of course, like a dummy. All right, so we'll just go ahead and put the pad on there. Line that up. We'll get rid of that for a sec. I feel like that's not even needed, because it looks like the actual detent inside the throttle itself is the right width. There we go. All right. I've already got some Allens. I mean, over here. See if I can find one that fits the size. Almost. A little bit smaller. There we go. Yeah, I got some tools before the stream, so. I'm going to revise that. With the handles on, and you actually have a point to push from, the friction lever comparison to the Warthog is probably about a little bit better than half the Warthog's friction. So the Warthog has a lot more friction than this does. This is probably 60%. Yeah, I would say that's probably about 60% of what the Warthog has as far as friction goes. because I normally ram my Warthog in the middle. I never pushed it all the way up to the top on the friction because it would literally lock the throttles, the quadrant almost. You couldn't move it. It would be so hard to move that thing. All right, very cool. All right, so I'm not going to put the other one on. That's a lie. I'm lying to you. I'm going to put it on. And while I'm doing that, let's go ahead and I just want to take a look at these. Okay, so right here. So it even says it. So right here you can see the picture. They've got the little 3M spacer. I think they included these because the throttles would knock. One of the reviewers would say when you would push the throttle forward. Oh yeah, you can still hear it. You hear that? So the throttle itself, about midway, so all right, still does it. All right, so I'm assuming these spacers, they included spacers for you to put between the throttle handle and the actual mounting plate itself to get some separation from the right throttle handle to the left throttle handle, so that when you're pushing them forward, they don't intersect or hit each other. So I'll have to put those in. I'm not going to do that on stream. I think I am going to do that off stream and get it set up, and then what I'll do for you guys is I'll stream the first flight with this once I get everything mounted. And then you guys can kind of fly along with me or ride along with me when I fly. And if you got questions about the WinWing, just let me know. If I have answers for you, I will definitely answer it on the stream. Try to. To the best of my ability. All right, very cool though. I'm excited to see what what this throttle feels like and what it does in the game itself. So let's go ahead and take a look at the front. I've got one last piece here. We've got the front of the stick, or the front of the throttle. So there we go. We got another USB. We got two. Okay, so that's why we need two. So you have one for the panel, one for the throttle. Interesting. And then we've got something here on the front and another pin. I'll have to read the instructions. There's a pin right here that almost looks like a power, some type of external power, or maybe a reset. And then you've got this, there's some type of, there you go, you guys can see it now. There's some type of pad here on the front of the throttle right next to the USB. And then there's the pinhole that you can see kind of. So I don't know what that is, what that's there for. It doesn't look like it comes out. Here I am voiding my warranty right now. I'm not about warranties. Just kidding. All right, so it feels like it's tape there. All right, I'm not going to yank on that anymore. As I yank on it. I think I'm going to be good. Oh, that's neat. They got a neat little touch. So on the front of the throttle itself, there is engraved the company name. So it looks like they did a little more branding. So you can kind of see WinWing right there on the throttle, on the actual throttle levers, the detent. levers. Pretty cool. I don't mind that. I can't see it, so that's tasteful. Good job, WinWing. I would have never have noticed that if I didn't turn this around and look for the USB ports. So the fact that that is inconspicuous, hidden, and on the front there, I don't mind that one bit. You want to brand your gear like that? That is cool. I don't like gaudy. I do like the Velcro. This is going to be in my box, my throttle box. If this was outside my throttle box, if I was mounting it via the mounting solutions that WinWing offer, I would probably put tape over that. Like some electrical tape or something. Those are big white letters. Not that I don't appreciate the piece of art here on the table. I like kind of inconspicuous and low-key when it comes to branding. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for tonight. I don't have anything else in the box. So that was the unboxing, a little bit of kind of setup. Next time you see me or see my stream, I'm going to have this set up on the actual rig itself, and I'll walk you through everything. Sorry for having to cut over to the webcam mic. I know it's probably horrid quality, but thank you guys for sticking with me and watching. If you have any questions, send me a DM. You can follow me over at Facebook. You can catch me in the Combat Box Discord. Just let me know. All right, guys. Until next time, we will see you then.